so many people want to start businesses. They want to fund their businesses with a loan. So can you talk a little bit about like should people raise money? Should people get a loan to start a business? And by the way, I'm sure you know like Mark Cuban has a very famous quote that like only stupid people take a loan to fund their business.
Well,
Have you
Mark
come across
Cuban
that?
is the king of bootstrapping. Have you read any of his stuff? I read his book. I'm a huge fan of his. And I mean, that guy slept like on the floor and ate ramen noodles for years. I mean, he's the ultimate self-made bootstrap entrepreneur. So yeah, I can understand that he has no tolerance for people that don't want to sleep on the floor. He's like sharing an apartment with like 15 people. That was his gig. So I understand that he feels that way, and to a certain extent, I do too. Just because I know what the stuff looks like later on down the road. I mean, to the extent that you can bootstrap, you just want to bootstrap the heck out of it. You want to grow it slowly, and a lot of people, I call it the realtor versus lawyer syndrome. So I was a lawyer for many years. As a lawyer, people come into your office, right, and they meet with you. So if you want to project an image as a successful lawyer, you need to have a nice office, right? But nobody sees what you drove to that office in, right? So you don't need a nice car. However, realtors, people don't really go into their offices so much, but they're in their cars all the time. So realtors should spend their money on cars, and lawyers should spend their money on offices, and nobody should have all good stuff right out of the gate because it means you're spending too much darn money before you made any.
Yeah. So you essentially kind of advocate against.
Some stuff, like if you want to start a bowling alley or something like that, I mean, you're going to need capital. I mean, it's this the bottom line. But a lot of
Don't tell me you
times,
think that the bowling alley is a better business than a restaurant.
no, I think they're both terrible.
Both terrible, right?
But that's the same situation, yeah. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you need something capitally intensive. But when you're trying to start the bowling alley, what's your vision? What do you want to do? Is it you want to hold events? Is that you're a big bowling advocate? Is there some other way that you can build a business around this with a lot more creativity and a lot less money?
Yeah, it's all about resourcefulness, right? Yeah. And what do you think about these microloan companies? Like, there's Lendio, there's Prosper. I mean, they're kind of for people who are starting to business and taking a loan, but you essentially advocate against it, right?
My first and always is that I want to remain in control. In my business, I don't want people telling me what to do. I'm very American that way. Some people have a less, staunch feeling about that. Just know, as soon as somebody writes you a check, they feel that they have a interest in your business. There was a very interesting, I don't even remember where I read this, but it was a thing with a restaurant, and it was a restaurant startup, and Uncle Joe, let's say, lent $10,000 to start the restaurant. Well, Uncle Joe was like a big man around town, right? So he shows up at the restaurant every Saturday night, he sits in the corner booth, he drinks for free, he brings his friends. All of a sudden, Uncle Joe has cost you way more than he ever gave you. So when you're taking money from people, you have to be really clear on what the parameters are around that money.